here, drove up to West Kentucky to visit some parents, do a few things like that. Thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk to a few guys. So we're here today with Dean Owen. He's a veteran, been on at least 2 of our trips, a big supporter of them, a big supporter of veterans in general. I know he's involved with the Soldier's Heart. Maybe some more, I'll let him tell you all that, but without further ado, here's Dean.
Kind of before that, I was raised in a very, very difficult family situation, not unlike J.D. Vance. As a matter of fact, long before J.D. Vance was famous for being for politics, I said that J.D. Vance had followed me around for 40 years, wrote a book and a movie, and he owed me royalties. Because there's so many similarities to that story and mine. So at 18, I ran away. Went to the National Guard because I was first really afraid of commitment. Emotionally, I was probably 12 or 13 years old, but I knew I had to get away from where I was at. I knew it was not good. Went to the National Guard, got some training there, boot camp, different trainings there. Got home and realized that it was, now that I had gotten a little bit more sane and a little bit more mature, that the problems at home were even worse. So I started shopping, and Navy offered to send me to school longer than anyone else, so I joined the Navy. And I ended up in the submarine community. Started out as a sonar technician. And went through all the training, went through all the things there with the submarine. Had a really interesting career. At one point, my submarine was in a dry dock, and I had found myself running in and out of Kuwait with combat boots on, doing some really interesting things. Most of them very positive, some of them not. But went back and finished out my career as an instructor at the submarine training facility in Bangor, Washington. And of course, the mid-90s is when my time was up, and that was right after the Cold War, and the military was not a fun place to be. I had gotten involved and gotten interested in taxes and finance and those kind of things, so I figured I would get out of the military after my contract was up and go back to school and learn to be an accountant. So that's how I ended up where I am today.
Tell some of the things you do to help other veterans with PTSD. I know you're involved in a lot of those organizations.
Soldier's Heart is a big one. Try to stay plugged in with those guys as I can. I don't get to plug in with them as much as I would like. My real job does take it's quite demanding at times. And then I've got a few other things that are going on. But try to help them with the funding of the things that they're doing. You know, some of us that don't have as much time to put into it and can't put boots on the ground, but there's others who can. And those of us who can't, maybe we can help fund those who put boots on the ground or who take guys out on ships.
Cool. Tell us about the 2 trips you did do on Ghost Ship.
They were amazing, and they came at a really difficult time in my life. When I just needed to be away, I needed to be around a bunch of guys I could trust, a bunch of guys that no expectations, guys, there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no nothing, it's just brotherhood. I had run my career for so long and had detached from my brothers that are here locally, just because of work. And that's when we all start to isolate, and we all start to, it puts us in a dark place. So those trips came at a particularly valuable time for me when I needed to get away, when I needed to get my head on straight. And they were exactly what I needed, because you go out and you learn how to sail. I've never been a sailboat guy. I've always liked powerboats, but you get taught how to sail. It's not like you have to sail a boat on your own. And you're just there with guys that have really tough stories. There's nothing to do but talk to each other and share. And you open up your heart, you open up to what's really going on for you, and you find out everybody else is doing the same thing. Everyone's fighting the same battles, but we often fight them in isolation because of guilt and shame. But when you find out that you don't have to fight those battles alone, it becomes very, very powerful. And you find out that you're not messed up. Someone did something to you, and you've got some things to work through. And you can work through them. And oftentimes, you need help. And it doesn't come in a bottle. It doesn't come in a pill. It comes in a form of brotherhood. And that's what those trips are. That's what the trips when we go to Steve's place in Frankfurt for the retreats, that's what they are. It's a bonding, it's being around guys who have had the same wounds, crawled out of the same holes, or are in the same holes, and figuring out that you're not the only one. There's a lot of other people out here like us, but we don't talk about that because of guilt and shame. So we feel isolated. We feel like the only one. And that's where PTSD plays. That's what I call it. That's where the enemy plays. That's his playground. And his tools are guilt and shame. If you can get past that and get around people who are not going to hold you guilty or not going to shame you, and you figure out that you don't have anything that's much worse than anybody else does, then you can get it out. Then you can work through it. Then you can process, and then you can heal. But until you can get rid of the guilt and the shame, and oftentimes you cannot do that unless you're around a bunch of guys that's been there, done that. Because there's a lot of people in this world who haven't had our story. They don't understand where we've been. They don't understand what we've done. There's a lot who have, but a lot who haven't. And those people that haven't been where we've been and done what we've done, oftentimes are not going to understand. But the guys who do understand, you get them around you. You get up close to them, get them in your inner circle and keep them there. And they keep you in their inner circle. Make a conscious effort to stay plugged in and stay involved with those guys. And we talk about the soldier's heart that's here local. So if those guys are dealing with some PTSD, they figure out there's people local that care and want to help and they can plug in with and who understand. So as you know, Captain Perry, everything we do is of no cost to the veteran whatsoever. We pay for the plane ticket down to Florida if we need to. So it's absolutely no cost. There's absolutely no expectations. You do have to buy your own beer, but that's about it. You know, everything else gets paid for. So those are some of the things that we're doing, and it just makes my heart feel so good to be able to give back like that. Lean on your military training. A lot of the military training, not just your MOS or your particular rating, but the military is very good at building teams. And remember what it takes to build teams. And my success in life have become because I know how to build teams. I'm one of the top 150 CPA financial advisors in North America. That's what the magazines say. But it's not me, it's my team. My team is that good, I'm not, I'm overrated. The hydrogen business that we have now is going to change the world. But this is the right team of people. It's a small team doing some incredibly amazing things. And most people would say it could never be done with such a small team, but we're doing it. Building teams is what's allowed me to be very, very fortunate in life. That skill set. Use that same skill set that we all learn from being in the military to build a team of people to help us in our personal lives as well. And it's just as vital, and it will be just as successful. Flies like a helicopter taking off, then lays over and flies like an airplane in flight. And it is amazing fun. This is the future of personal aviation, and I believe very likely the future of personal transportation. In 5 to 7 years, I believe these aircraft will be as common and affordable as cars, and people will be using them. In this particular program, there's 8 others, and I was the second one who are bringing these to market, bringing these to the mass public as demonstrators, as ambassadors, so that the world can see what these aircraft are all about and that they are real. And yes, if you look up Dean Owen flying car in a Google search, it will entertain you for at least a moment or two.
I hope everybody enjoyed that chat with Dean Owen. Really good guy. Like I said, he's been on a couple of our trips, probably be going on another one sometime. He's a big supporter of all the veterans groups, not just ours, and he does do a lot of good things for us. If you enjoyed seeing that, subscribe to the channel, like this video, make a comment below if you know Dean, say something nice about him there. Anyway, if you subscribe to our channel, that will help us get some more exposure for the veterans, things like that. If you want to become a part of our growing group of Patreons, please do that. I'll put the link below and you can be able to help these guys. It helps us out to do more trips for them, take care of the boats, things like that. Until next time, Captain Perry out.